Hello, thanks for joining me again. Today I would like to discuss with you about perception. How do we perceive others? Say, for instance, we're in a small conversation, or you met someone for the first time, or you hear something about somebody. How do you perceive them? Do you judge them without even knowing them? Let's say you met someone for the first time. Depending on how they dress, how they look, how they speak, you assume something about them. This is a learned habit. It's what society taught us to do. But is that true about that person? I'm saying to you today, let's start thinking about what we say about each other's, because it's blocking our relationship with each other. We can't relate to each other because we assume something about them. Let us be open like a little child when we meet someone for the first time. And instead of assuming something about them in our heads, we just open up to them, get to know them, listen to what they have to say before you go ahead and assume something about them. Sometimes people can be having a bad day. Sometimes they have a bad hair day. Sometimes they don't dress well. Maybe they're going through a crisis. We are human beings. We're not objects. And we're not supposed to be judging each other like that. It's blocking our relationship. And if we want to relate to each other better, it's best we start to listen to our thoughts. Our thoughts are not always leading us down the right path. Sometimes our thoughts block us from what we should be in life because we learned all these negative things inside of us thinking all the time. So the first step in not judging and perceiving others wrong, I would say, is to change the way we think. And how do we do that? We have to start listening to the way we think. We have to be able to open to others, start loving more, start thinking about the other person. Put yourself in the other person's shoes and say to yourself, would I like someone to think about me like this? Let's hear what the Bible has to say about this. In Matthew 7, verse 1 to 6, you can read it yourself, but I'm summarizing. It says, do not judge, or you will be judged in the same measure that you judge the other person. It is saying to us, life is a boomerang. If you go around judging people, it will come back to you in the same measure that you judge that person. So judging is something that we need to limit and stop if we must, because it is not good for either us or the person. You might cut that person off. What if that person was the person that God placed in your life to take you to the next level? But because you judge them straight out the bat and cut them off, you never receive that blessing. So I implore us today to not judge. And when we get the nudge to judge someone, we switch that default mode and think about, what if that was me? Would I appreciate someone thinking about me like that? So today, do not judge each other. Go out, talk to people, get to know them, get to understand where they're coming from, and relate to them. Judging is not a good practice. Let's perceive good things about each other if we're going to do that, instead of holding each other down. Let's be like a little child. So I just want to ask you guys to go out and be conscious of how you're perceiving each other. Because remember, we are, we can see ourselves in each other and we are one. Thank you for joining me. God bless.